Tuvasa the Sunlit versus Arahbo, Roar of the World. Very fast commander, if my memory serves. Haven't seen it in a very long time. Verdant Catacombs onto Abundant Growth, maybe. Oh no, that doesn't give us extra mana, does it? So definitely not in that case. Miri's Guile on turn 1 is nice, and then don't think Seal of Cleansing is going to do much for us. Copy Artifact might, but in my experience this commander wants to get down turn 1 and yeah, we'll put that on top. We might be able to make use of that. Yeah, our opponent most likely wants to get down turn 2 and... what am I trying to say? Get down turn 1 and 2 cats is what I'm trying to say. And then get a massive buff from the Arahbo, which has Eminence at the beginning of combat on your turn. If it's in the command zone or on the battlefield, another cat you control gets +3/+3 until the end of the turn. We will shock him, Miri's Guile. And then have a look at the other ability. Whenever another cat you control attacks, you can pay 3, and if you do, it gains trample and +X/+X, where X is its power. Tuvasa the Sunlit is a bank commander, gets a +1/+1 buff for each enchantment we control. It's a 1/1, 3 mana, and whenever you cast your first enchantment spell each turn, you draw a card. We are going to always yes and yield to Miri's Guile. And then Mystical Tutor. Yeah, I think I like getting into Mystical Tutor here. Just in case we want to try and get into an answer for our opponent. Sunspear Shikari has first strike and lifelink as long as it's equipped. Otherwise it has no abilities. It's just a 2/2 for 2 mana. And it does of course have Summoning Sickness, so it can't swing in. We're going to shuffle those abilities away, or those cards away. And why don't we just go for Green Sun Zenith. Argothian Enchantress is quite nice as well. But I think... yeah, I think I like Maze of Ith the best there. So we'll get down Maze of Ith, try and save ourselves a little bit of life. And then we may want to Cyclonic Rift our opponent. But I'd rather not use Cyclonic Rift for 2 mana. Okay, a couple of slow fetches from our opponent isn't ideal for them, but... oh, and they don't go for a green source, which is surprising. If we wasteland that command tower, they're going to struggle for green. Okay, the Blood-Forged Battle Axe is something they can't equip, unfortunately. And even if they could, we can keep them off. Okay, they're going to make us activate Maze of Ith. We can just remove that from combat. Hope that they don't get into another cat. I'm not going to bother with a Cyclonic Rift. Okay, question is, do we want... don't particularly want to shuffle away these cards, but Green Sun Zenith can get us into Dryad Arbor, I think we have in the deck. Oh, I hope we do. That'll feel bad if we don't. Why don't I do something that I never do? And go in for... yes, we do have it, so that is fine. We can go into the thing that we were supposed to do a turn ago. Yeah, I don't like going into the deck list like that, but I also don't like making mistakes either, so I'd hate to go for Green Sun Zenith for 2 mana, for nothing into X, so just for 1 mana, and fail to find a Dryad Arbor. That'd feel pretty bad. And I'm actually halfway through setting up a dual monitor system, so that I can have the deck list open on another monitor. And as you may have noticed on the videos, I only upload in 720p. That's because the monitor that I have is a weird resolution. For some reason, it's only 1050 instead of 1080, and I don't know why that is, but yeah, I don't know why someone would manufacture a monitor at only 1050 when I can't see it being that much more difficult for a manufacturer to squeeze it up to 1080, but nevertheless, that's what it turned out to be. Yeah, this is a monitor that I got as when I bought a computer package a few years ago, and this is just the monitor that came with it. I kind of bought the whole thing on the cheap. Let's go for Forest here, and we can get into our commander. Yeah, I think our commander is okay here. Yeah, so I had this monitor, and of course, if you're anything below 1080, then YouTube will just downgrade the video to 720, and yeah, it's not the best for us. We want to try and get up to the highest resolution we can, and we've got a little bit of extra funding, what I've saved, so I've decided to get another monitor and a little dual monitor framework type thing that fixes to the desk. So I'm just in the middle of doing that currently, and that should make things a lot easier with editing and playing games and having the deck list up on another video so we can try and make more informed plays. What our opponent will most likely do here, they get into a basic forest, that's good. Probably go for Bloodforged Battle Axe onto the Kemba. Oh, this is perhaps what they should do. It looks like, no, they're just getting down their commander. Which is not the worst thing. Yeah, I don't actually mind a Cyclonic Rift on their commander now, because that means that they're not getting Eminence unless they replay it next turn, and that's just more mana for them, of course. Yeah, maybe we just Seal of Cleansing. Oh, Mirari's Wake is nice as well, but I think we're going to have to hold off on that for a turn. We might as well just get down this Plains, and we'll go Seal of Cleansing. We draw into the Mirari's Wake, which is good, and then we can hold up Cyclonic Rift. In fact, I'm going to wait until our opponent is trying to pass into the beginning of combat phase. Then I'm going to bounce Arahbo, because it does trigger at the beginning of combat. They can pay mana to equip the Battle Axe if they want to, but we can just blow it up with the Seal of Cleansing. Okay, Bloodforged Battle Axe going on to Kemba. Like I say, we can blow that up if we want to. Oh, and we don't have a stop on. That's annoying. We don't have a stop on the main phase. I thought we did. Yeah, that is irritating. Okay, well, that's alright. We can still bounce the commander. They can't replay it this turn at least. And they're going to have to if they want Eminence. And then we can maze our opponent's Sun Spear Shikari. Do we want to copy the Bloodforged Battle Axe with copy artifact? I don't think we really care about that. No, we'll just Seal of Cleansing. That will of course deal 2 damage to us in Kemba. Okay, and into Miri's Guile, done a hell of a lot of work for us this game. We're on 3, 4, 5 mana currently, which means we can just tap out for Mirari's Wake if we want to. Darksteel Mutation is tempting, but we can go for that next turn. Yeah, if we go Plea for Guidance, Darksteel Mutation, Windswept Teeth, we can play the Windswept Teeth and not crack it to ensure that we get into that Darksteel Mutation. So there we go, Mirari's Wake, and that will bump Tuvasa up to a 4/4. So now we can comfortably block the Kemba, assuming that it doesn't get equipped up with anything. And we've managed to keep them off those cat tokens quite well. Oh, and I forgot we do, of course, draw into the Darksteel Mutation, so if we don't care about Plea for Guidance, then we could actually shuffle up our library if we want to. Alright, well, that kind of makes the decision for us. Plea for Guidance isn't as good with Leon and Arbiter in play, so we might as well kill 2 birds with 1 stone here. We'll get green and blue, I think, which is... We've already got Breeding Pool, haven't we? So that means it is Tropical Island. And this way we get to see 3 fresh cards on the top with Mirari's Wake. And next turn we have 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12 mana. Balan is, yeah, getting a lot of equipment Leonins into play. I think the biggest threat currently is that Balan. Yeah, for just 2 mana, attach all equipment to it. And it has double strike as long as 2 or more equipments are attached to it. Luckily our opponent doesn't actually have any equipment in play. Alright, let's see. Greater Auramat, Satyr, Enchanter I think is what we want here. Good that we have both the Auramancy and Sterling Grove on top, because that means that we can get Shroud on all of our stuff. So let's go into Satyr Enchanter, and then we can Darksteel Mutation, onto Balan, and this will get us a couple of cards drawn, and that means that we get into Greater Auramancy and Sterling Grove. And we've unfortunately run out of white mana, but we can get into Sterling Grove here. And then there is nothing to copy with copy artifacts, so I think... Yeah, and there's no point swinging in with Tuvasa because they have an indestructible 0/1. Perhaps should have saved the Darksteel Mutation, but I did want to draw some cards. And draw cards we did, thanks to casting Sterling Grove and Darksteel Mutation that turn. We get to see some new cards on the top with the Guile as well. 3 cards in our opponent's hand now, and plenty of mana to do whatever they have in hand. Kazali Slingers, 3/5 reach. Whenever it or another cat enters, you can destroy an artifact or an enchantment. Ah, that feels bad. At least they have to go for Sterling Grove, but it would have been really nice to get into that Greater Auramancy. And I think if I'd have tapped mana differently, we could have done it as well. So that's a mistake on my part. Oh, and I've just passed priority as well. We could have sacrificed it in response. Ugh, mistakes. Alright, let's see what we can get going here. Okay, Enchanted Evening. What do we want here? I don't think I care too much about Temple of the False God. Let's just go for Enchanted Evening there. And we can get into greater Auramancy to make it more difficult for our opponent to make use of their Kazali Slingers. Play Temple of the False God and play out our greater Auramancy. Then I think we Detention Sphere that Kazali Slingers. So that's going to do some good work for them if it sticks around. And we do of course get to draw another card with Satyr Enchanter. Sigil of the Empty Throne is really good. Get rid of that thing because we don't want our enchantments getting blown up. And then Sigil of the Empty Throne is going to allow us to take over this entire game. Karametra is another enchantment to play next turn. And we've got Tuvasa up to a 20/20. Unfortunately don't have any evasion for her. Yeah, it would be really nice to get some unblockable or flying onto her. Unfortunately that's not something we can do. And Tuvasa is a 20/20 by the way, for any of you who haven't spotted it, thanks to Enchanted Evening. 5 mana enchantment. All permanents are enchantments in addition to their other types. This pulls double duty. The main reason it's in the deck is to protect from mass enchantment removal. If anyone uses Merciless Eviction or an Austere command, they will blow up every single permanent on the board. And I'm guessing our opponent doesn't want to do that. Also, it makes all of our enchantments, all of our permanents enchantments, so every single permanent counts towards Tuvasa's buff. So if we can manage to squeeze that past our opponent, we can get commander damage off pretty easily. Out comes Arahbo. That would have triggered the Kazali Slingers, which would have blown up the Greater Auramancy. That's exactly why we wanted to get that off the field as soon as we could. And then Arahbo, Roar of the World, gives something a buff, but I don't think it really matters. We can block anything. And they can't afford Rogue's Passage. Plus we have Maze of Ith anyway. We're going to start getting into some angels now, hopefully. We can play lots of enchantments, have a look at what's on top of our deck and try and stack it accordingly. Okay, Propaganda's nice, as is Imprisoned in the Moon, so Aura of Silence we don't care. And then, there we go. We'll get into Imprisoned in the Moon, that will go straight onto our opponent's commander. And we've got a land drop for the turn, which is nice. So that's 3 mana. And a couple of blue. That's Imprisoned in the Moon onto Arahbo. And that will draw us 3, no it won't, it'll draw us 2 cards and get us an angel. A real pet card of mine, Sigil of the Empty Throne, and I've never been able to use it, apart from in Enchantress builds, for obvious reasons. So really happy to be able to run it in Tuvasa. Get into Karametra, now every time that we cast a creature we can ramp a little bit. Get into another land, that's nice. How about Propaganda as well? And tapped my mana wrong there. I should have held up some white mana for Aura of Silence. Well, not to worry. We can go in for... Yeah, no point in swinging in yet, because our opponent can block pretty well still, thanks to that Darksteel mutation. We can give Tuvasa Trample with, I think it's Nylea, the god. But we do have some 5/5 Flying Angels to start getting damage on our opponent, so unless our opponent can do something about this, this is they are on a 2-turn clock as it stands now. They can get Kemba equipped with the Sword of the Animist. I think it's too little too late for this, but if they want to swing in, I'd be more than happy to block it, but I imagine they're just equipping it to get the cat tokens on the go. Okay, that's interesting. Each player chooses a creature they control and destroys the rest. We're going to choose our Satyr Enchanter. They are going to destroy our angels. We can no problem get a load of angels into play again. And we get to keep Karametra, of course, because it's indestructible, and we can get down Tuvasa. I don't think we've had it destroyed this game. Well, I can't remember. Maybe we have. Soon find out. But we're definitely going to get some angels going again anyway. And I think just to be safe, we'll get our Sterling Grove out of the graveyard with Monk Idealist. Privileged Position does the same thing though. Yeah, well I think we're going to draw into all of this anyway, so let's just go into Stony Silence, turn off those artifact equipments. So there we go, it's Tuvasa is a blue. Yeah, we've only cast it once because it costs 5 mana to do this. So we'll get this down. And then we don't care about the cards on top, so I'm going to say yes to that. And we'll get down some more white mana, I think. So we'll just go for basic plains there. And then we'll go into Monk Idealist. Monk Idealist will fish out our Sterling Grove. We'll go for Canopy Vista. Monk Idealist gets Sterling Grove for us. And this will give all of our stuff Shroud and Hexproof, just in case they have more targeted removal for us. And now we're starting to get some angels on the go as well, which is going to be our means of winning this game. Argothian Enchantress is another means of drawing cards, and that will of course ramp us with Karametra. Karametra's already ramped us by 3 cards, so that's really good. I think this is about all we want to do in this deck. We'll go for Aura of Silence and blow up that sword, just so they don't get a token with that. Or we could blow up the Dark Steel. Yeah, we could blow up. Oh no, is it something our opponent controls? Oh, it has Shroud, so we can't target it, that's why. Okay, scratch that. We can't do that anyway. And let's just... yeah, can't do anything else, I don't think. Why don't we just copy artifact on the... Oh, can you tell it's late at night and I want to go to bed? I've just played copy artifact in order to copy Sword of the Animist, and I've literally just blown it up. So there you go. We'll, oh, and our opponent concedes anyway, so that's fair enough. Yeah, I wasn't trying to dirtle around there or anything. I just need to cast as many enchantments as possible in order to get a throng of angels into play. And with 3 angels in play, we can swing in and take our opponent down to 15, and then swing in again the next turn and get the game off to a win. But yeah, a few silly mistakes there by me. Tapping mana wrong isn't something that I typically do, and I've just noticed Tuvasa is a 33-33, so might be Might be a good idea to get some more means of making Tuvasa unblockable in the deck. But yeah, anyway, don't normally tap lands wrong, but I'm making silly mistakes during this recording session tonight because it's about 1 o'clock in the morning on a weekday. I've been at work all day and I needed to get some recording done, so it's a late night, unfortunately. And that means that I'm not firing on all cylinders. So anyway, hopefully you enjoyed that Tuvasa game, and I will see all of you in the next one. I'm Tribalkai on the EDH channel. Thank you for watching.